Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing my NFL season predictions. We're going to start off with the standings. We're going to go division by division. After that, we are going to be doing my award predictions for the year and then my Super Bowl slash playoff predictions. This is Wednesday night, right before um, kickoff, obviously, which will be tomorrow, and we will get out our Thursday night predictions probably tomorrow for week one, and then the main week one video will probably drop Friday or Saturday. Let me know if you want to see any like fantasy football content. I guess I could do that. I want to do some baseball content a bit. It's baseball season. So we might do some predictions for the playoffs, or we might do some power rankings, whatever you guys want to see. If you want to see any baseball, I know one of my biggest videos was Tatis the Yankees. That didn't happen. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna get right into it with the AFC West. We got the 12-5 Chiefs. I think that will be the first place team in the AFC West, followed by the 9-8 Chargers. I think they will second place team, followed by the Broncos, who will also be 9-8, and then the Raiders will be 3-14. It's obvious the Chiefs are gonna dominate this division. I mean, is that really surprising? It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been running the AFC West for a while now, and with Patrick Mahomes, I don't expect that to end. Yes, of course, you got a big thing at the beginning of the year. You're missing Chris Jones, which I think is really unfortunate. They could lose against the Lions on Thursday because of that. But overall, I think the Chiefs are the best team in the division, followed by the Chargers, who had one of the worst chokes in playoff history last year. It was really bad. But I think that they are a good team, and I think they will play perfectly fine and finish above 500, making this playoffs. As for the Broncos, I think they're going to be pretty good, just not quite good enough for a playoff slot. Their record will be good enough, but because of some tiebreakers or whatever, they won't be making it. And then I will be having the Raiders, who I think are just a dumpster fire this year. You got a new quarterback, Devontae Adams. I think he's still going to be good. Josh Jacobs might still be good. Just because a wide receiver or running back is producing, want to say fantasy-wise, statistically, whatever you want to say, doesn't mean that the team's necessarily going to be good. Now, they do have some good players. With the whole drama with Chandler Jones is big. Obviously, they got some draftees like Tyree Wilson, who might play a big part in this, and he's a little rawer prospect, so it might not be good. You never know what happens with Max Crosby. I don't think the team's going to be good overall. Don't think Jimmy G is good outside of San Francisco. All right, let's get into the AFC East, where we got the Miami. I have the Bills being first, 12-5. After that, I got the Jets at 11-6. We'll also be making the playoffs. I got the Dolphins at 9-8, and I got the Patriots at 8-9. Personally, think the Bills will win a lot of regular season games. I think the Jets are a good team, but I don't think they will necessarily show it during the regular season. Maybe during the playoffs. The Dolphins, hard to judge with that team with Tua. But I think they'll sneak into the playoffs. And then the Patriots, I think, will just narrowly miss out. Cutting all the quarterbacks was an interesting decision, though. Next, we got the AFC South with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got them going 11-6. I got the Titans going 9-8. I had the Texans going 7-10, and I got the Colts going 5-12. So, Jaguars, they won a playoff game last year. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, got some good offensive pieces. They got Calvin Ridley coming. They can definitely be a big sleeper team, I think. And they got an okay defense. They got a great coach in Doug Peterson. So, I think that is really interesting. The Titans, 9-8. Because, there was this kind of solid thing to be in there. Mike Vrabel's one of the best coaches in the league. I don't think they made the playoffs this year. Like last year, it's so hard to tell what the Titans last year. They were really good up until a certain point, and then they fell off because of injuries to Ryan Tannehill. I don't think Ryan Tannehill was great, but I think the team as a whole is solid, and they play under a good coach, so they will be an above 500 team. Where we got the Texans, they got rookie and Bryce Young. They need to win. They got Will Anderson as well, obviously huge. So they got Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Alabama boys. And then you gotta win because your pick is now the Cardinals. So 7-10 seems pretty realistic for the Titans, and then 5-12 for the Colts. I mean, the whole Jonathan Taylor saga is probably not making it any better. Anthony Richardson, the guy, I don't think he'll be great season 1, but I think he has amazing upside. So it is definitely an interesting thing that goes on with them. How will they do? No one really knows. I think they won't do very well because of that. Now we got the AFC North, one of the most competitive divisions in football. Fortnite, sorry. So I got the Bengals 11-6. I got the Ravens 9-8. I got the Steelers 9-8, and I got the Browns 8-9. All kind of makes sense to me. So the Bengals, I think that the Bengals are, a great team. They might make a deep playoff run. The record is not well. The schedule is pretty hard, so the record might not be as good as people might think, but they're still a very good team. The Ravens, I think they're a good team. I just think they have a tough schedule. Same with the Bengals. 9-8 for the Steelers. I just can't see Mike Tomlin going under 500. He coaches that team so well. Kenny Pickett might be improving. You got great defensive pieces. TJ Watt might be coming back. The Steelers are kind of a sleeper team if the AFC wasn't so loaded. And then 8-9, I got the Browns. I think they're solid. I mean, they got some good offensive pieces. What will they do defensively? Still don't really have any picks, so they gotta win. How will Watson be? Will he be back to a kind of close to MVP form? Maybe. I don't like Deshaun Watson, so hopefully not. But he's also on one of my fantasy teams. Not that that really matters. I don't want him to be good though. Anyway, let's go to the NFC, where I got the 49ers at 12-5. NFC West specifically. I got the Seahawks at 10-7. I got the Cardinals at 3-14, and I got the Rams at 3-14. That all makes sense to me. The 49ers are a great team. We know that. We know this. So many great offensive pieces like McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Brock Purdy, who's gonna kind of be one of those. He's gonna be game managing, which is weird because. Well, no, it's not weird. Brock Purdy is a game manager. I was about to say because I mixed him up with Bailey Zappi for a second there. I didn't say it out loud though, so I'm kind of just giving that up. Bailey Zappi broke a record broke Joe Burrow's record for passing yards or whatnot. It was because at Western Kentucky they just threw the ball a lot. Little cut there. Anyway, Seahawks I got going 10-7. Seahawks, they did well last year, and I think they repeat that this year. I think the Seahawks are a good team, and they're in an easier division, so Seahawks will do well. Cardinals, obviously don't have Kyler Murray for first 4 weeks, I believe it is. Might be a bit longer. Who knows? But without Kyler Murray, they're not going to be good. With Kyler Murray, they're going to be better, but not much better, so I got them going 3-14. The team really isn't that great. And then, of course, the Rams, I got going 3-14, simply because they were, I don't see them be good. I mean, they got some talented players, but they don't really have a roster. Eagles got going 11-6, which is not a great record for them, but I think they're kind of saving it for the playoffs. I think Jalen Hurts kind of does explode, though, and he does really well. But yeah, even though they only go 11-6, I think that they still, win the NFC East pretty easily. That makes sense to me. As I keep saying, as I keep constantly saying. Anyway, so the Uh, the Giants, I got going 10-7. Um, uh, I'm a Giants fan, you guys know that. I think they made improvements to the team schedules a little bit harder, but still kind of had somewhat easy schedule. I think that the Giants will do great. Um, then I got the Cowboys going 8-9. They're they're all right. I don't think they're anything special. The defense good. Will Dak be great? Who knows? It's hard to judge the Cowboys right now with that season that Dak just had, but I think that their defense with Micah Parsons will be really good. 6-11, I got the Commanders. Commanders, they're just kind of the bottom feeder of the NFC. It's not a lot to say about them. What will Sam Howell do? It's really interesting with that QB situation. Yeah, so next I got the Lions at 11-6, winning the division, NFC North that is. And then we got the Vikings at 11-6, the Bears at 8-9, and the Packers at 7-10. So Lions going 11-6. I think that they coach really well. I think that their offense will improve, and I think their defense will improve too. They made some weird picks in the NFL draft, but I think that they're good picks because they fill the holes that they need, even though they weren't valuable positions, running back. But Jahmyr Gibbs could possibly play receiver as well. He's been pretty good at that. But yeah, I think the Lions are a really well-coached team with a good defense, and Jared Goff is honestly one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. He's pretty good. I guess you will see on Thursday night if he is good against the Chiefs defense. Then we got the Vikings. They're a good regular season team. I don't really see them being great playoff wise, but I mean maybe they are. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, it's a pretty dynamic duo. Yeah, so I see the Vikings doing alright. I mean, not alright. 11-6 good record, but you know how they collapsed in the playoffs last year against my Giants. The Bears I got going 8-9. I think the Bears are, gonna be improving from last year. They weren't very good last year, obviously. But Justin Fields taking the next step. I think that he is, I don't know. No, he's a lot better than I think he's going to take a nice step up, but I think people are overrating him a little bit. But I still, nonetheless, think that Fields does, does some great things. Yeah. And then, of course, with the new weapons and DJ Moore, I think Cole Kmet's okay. It's interesting. Khalil Herbert is running back. Okay defense. Maybe well coach. We'll see. It's just one of those okay teams and nothing special. Packers 7-10. From what we've seen from Jordan Love, he's looked good. Will he be able to do that over a whole season? Probably not. I mean, it's going to be better than Rodgers. No. Rodgers last year might be somewhat similar, but there's too many holes on that team in my opinion, so I think they go 7-10. And then in the NFC South, we got the Falcons, we got the Saints. So Falcons at 10-7, Saints at 9-8. Panthers at 7-10, and Buccaneers at 4-13. So I got the Falcons at 10-7. I wasn't a big Falcons guy last year, and they were pretty good in my opinion. They drafted Bijan, who I think will be very good. And I mean, we'll see the quarterback situation, but I think that their defense will do well. I think the Falcons are just going to be one of those teams. They're pretty well coached. Yeah, I think Dan Quinn. No, not Dan Quinn. He's the defensive coordinator. I forget their coach's name. Anyway, we got the Saints at 9-8. I think they just have a cupcake schedule. I don't think the Saints are anything special, but easier schedule. So I think that they will do well record-wise. They'll be a solid team. Kamara's out the first 3 games. We'll see how much that matters. Maybe Michael Thomas comes back. Chris Olave will probably take a step forward. So we'll see. Panthers 7-10. I think Bryce Young's first year. It's gonna be a learning year. I mean, they traded away their best receiver, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Bryce Young there. So yeah, this is gonna be development year for and then for 13 I got the Buccaneers. I don't think they're great without Tom Brady. I don't think they're good at all. So we're gonna go into my NFL MVP, which I got Joe Burrow. Um, he's gotta win one eventually. I think this is his year. With it kind of being open, there might be some voter fatigue. People might not want Patrick Mahomes to win it. Maybe he isn't the greatest. He probably will be very good, but maybe Mahomes doesn't win it. Josh Allen will be in the running, but I don't think he'll win it. I think he'll be second. Jalen Hurts will be up there, and Mahomes will be up there. But I think ultimately Burrow wins it. Sneaky one. I was thinking about putting him Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he wins it, but I think he'll be pretty damn good. Offensive Player of the Year, I got Christian McCaffrey. I think he kind of runs wild. McCaffrey is one of those players. If he stays healthy, he is great, and I think he will stay healthy and win Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, got Micah Parsons. Parsons is just a beast. He can do pretty much everything on the defensive side of the ball. He's gonna get like 16 sacks around. He's gonna rack up tackles. He might get some picks, some forced fumbles. I think Parsons does everything you want him to do. I mean, he's an edge. He's kind of also hybrid, like could play inside linebacker in a sort of way. I'm pretty sure he got drafted more as an inside linebacker. The Cowboys moved him more to an outside linebacker, more of a 3-4 linebacker in terms of he's an edge. This is really interesting with that. I think Bijan Robinson wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think the Falcons are good, and I think Bijan's a big reason why, and he kind of, helps Desmond Ridder with that offense. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson. I don't really know who else would really win this award, so I gotta give it to Will Anderson. Jalen Carter will be in the running. Maybe we see surprise candidate like last year we saw Tariq Woolen, kind of like come into that. Maybe this year it's Deontay Banks. Giants. For the Giants, hopefully Deontay Banks is up there. But I think Will Anderson wins it. He's a great player, and I think he might get double-digit sacks his rookie year. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 10 to 12 sacks. Comeback Player of the Year, there's no other choice than DeMar Hamlin. I mean, he deserves it. It really doesn't matter what type of numbers he puts up. It's so crazy that he went into cardiac arrest last year, and it's a really scary moment, and he deserves something for all his trial and tribute. I know he's getting a lot of recognition and kind of blown up as a player, but it's good to give him an award like Comeback Player of the Year. Absolutely deserves it because he's coming back from having a heart attack on the field. You know how insane that is. He's my Comeback Player of the Year. And Coach of the Year, I got Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is just a great coach. The Atlanta Lions are a great coach team. I think the Lions ultimately make the playoffs. So let's go into my playoff predictions, where I got the Jets at Bengals. Give me the Bengals here. I think it'll be interesting. Jets with A-Rod and stuff. I mean, it's just a tough matchup. The Bengals are a really good team, and hopefully these matchups are flip-flop because this would be a great first-round matchup, but I want to see the Jets go far, and for the versus maybe a team not as good as the Bengals that might go far. Whereas for this one, we got the Jaguars at the Chargers, or Chargers at the Jaguars. I got the Jaguars winning this. I think T-Law is amazing. Honestly, Trevor Lawrence probably ends the year as a top 8 quarterback pretty easily. I think Trevor Lawrence is great, and I think he will get past Justin Herbert, who I think is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, but he doesn't have the supporting cast around him. He doesn't have as good as a coach, and maybe the Chargers do fire their coach here, Brandon Staley. I believe he hasn't been fired yet. Next we got the Dolphins at the Bills, rematch of last year. I'm taking the Bills here. Be interesting to see a Dolphins rematch upset. I think people would be pretty mad if I didn't pick the Bills here. If I had a hot take and the Dolphins win, that would kind of, be interesting. I really want to switch that, but I'm gonna stick with the Bills. I'm not gonna do that to you guys. Vikings at Falcons. Vikings seemed like chokers last year. Give me them over the Falcons any day of the week. think the Falcons are a decent team, but I think the Vikings just are better. Justin Jefferson, when it matters most. Alexander Mattison, Kirk Cousins better quarterback than Desmond Ritter. We know that. And B. John might be good, but Justin Jefferson is arguably the best non-quarterback in the league. Well, non-quarterback that's an offensive player, because you might want to give that to Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, players like that. Next we got the Seahawks at the Lions. This one's tough at giving the Lions. Well-coached team, both teams are. But I think the Lions just have a better roster with less holes, so I think I'm going to take the Lions there. And then Giants at the Eagles. The Eagles blew us out last year, and I think it'll be closer, but I'm taking the Eagles again. How could you pick the Giants or the Eagles? It just wouldn't make sense. It would be really biased of me to do so. Jaguars at the Bills. Give me the Jaguars. I told you I like Trevor Lawrence. Might not be better than Josh Allen, but I'm telling you, man, Trevor Lawrence, that Calvin Ridley connection, Christian Kirk, obviously, he has a lot of chemistry. Even Evan Ingram, like Trevor Lawrence, I think it's a big piece here. And I think that, Sean McDermott's a good coach, but I think Doug Peterson ultimately is a better one. And defensively, the Jaguars have a pretty solid defense. Bengals at Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs. It's really tough here because, it flip-flops. I mean, the Bengals have kind of owned them, but it's so hard to pick against Chiefs in the playoffs, so I won't be doing that today. I'm picking the Chiefs. I really wanted the Bengals to make the Super Bowl, but I think that there's no way that the Chiefs lose a AFC divisional game. I just don't think they would. I think they would lose not just Super Bowl, obviously, AFC Championship the earliest. Lions at Eagles. Give me the Eagles. I mean, come on, man. The Eagles were great last year. I can't possibly pick the Lions over them. It'd be really ballsy. I already have the Jaguars over the Vikings, so we're going to slow down there. And then, not the Jaguars over the Vikings. Jaguars are the Bills. And then we got the Vikings at the 49ers. Give me the 49ers. The 49ers are great. And I think that defense will kill the Vikings. Jaguars at Chiefs. It's so interesting. But you know what? Give me the Jaguars. I'm betting high on this Jaguars team. It's really hard, to pick them over the Chiefs. But, the Chiefs are going to lose eventually, right? If it's not to the Bengals, why not the Jaguars? Give me the Jaguars. It's a really ballsy pick. And then the Eagles at the 49ers. Most people would pick the Eagles here, but not me. I'm picking the 49ers. You guys know that I think that the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. I thought that last year. They weren't, but that's besides the fact. And then we would have Jaguars 49ers Super Bowl, where I'm taking the 49ers over the Jaguars. Their offense is just so good, and then they had one of the best defensive players in the league, Nick Bosa. I just don't think. I think that they're the best team on paper when you exclude the quarterback, and even with the quarterback, they're really up there. And I think Brock Purdy takes a step forward and is a great game manager still. And I think ultimately the 49ers win the Super Bowl, and I give Super Bowl MVP to Deebo Samuel. Anyway, that's gonna be all from me today. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.